So let us start our first configuration, creating a warehouse in SAP S4HANA Embedded EWM. A warehouse in SAP S4HANA EWM is the highest level organizational unit in the warehouse structure, and it plays a crucial role in managing the operations efficiently. Let's get started by creating this warehouse. To configure the warehouse, go under the node SEM Extended Warehouse Management and go to Extended Warehouse Management and expand the node master data, and here you see the first node, which is define warehouse number. Execute it and you will be landed on the screen. So here if you can see, we will see a list of existing warehouse. Now to create a new warehouse, we simply click on new entries. Now let's enter the necessary details for our company, which is Tech Innovators Warehouse. In the warehouse number field, we will enter the 4-digit alphanumeric key, which is TEWM. Okay, now this is the unique identifier for this embedded EWM warehouse. Now next is, in the description field we will enter a meaningful name. Let's type it as Tech Innovators Warehouse. That's it. So we have entered the warehouse number and the description. Now hit save, create a new customizing request, press enter to continue, and the data has been saved. Okay, so we have successfully created the warehouse for the Tech Innovators in the SAP Embedded EWM. Let's move on to the next configuration. Go back. All right, now our next configuration is copy warehouse number customizing. So our next step is copying the customizing settings from an existing warehouse number. Okay, so this functionality allows us to save time by copying all the warehouse numbers dependent entries from an existing configuration into our newly created warehouse. However, note that the number range intervals are not copied automatically. Okay, let's walk through this process. Now go under the node SEM Extended Warehouse Management and then Extended Warehouse Management, and then here there's a node cross process setting. Okay, go under the node and here you have an option copy warehouse number customizing it. Okay, execute the node, you will be landed on the screen. Now you will see an option to copy warehouse number. Okay, click on this symbol. Next we need to select the source warehouse from which we want to copy the settings. In this case we will use the warehouse 0001 as our source warehouse. This is the standard configuration warehouse that already has all the necessary settings defined. Okay, select it. Next, for the destination warehouse we will enter our TEWM, okay, which is our Tech Innovators Warehouse. That's it. Press enter. Okay, now click on save. Now SAP will copy all the warehouse number dependent entries from the source warehouse 0001 into our new warehouse TEWM. Okay, once the system confirms that the customizing entries have been successfully copied, now you are ready to proceed with the further configurations. That's it. Successfully it has been done. Okay, so this is how we will copy the warehouse number customizing. Okay, now I will proceed to the next configuration. Go back. Our next configuration is define number ranges. Defining number ranges is an essential step because it allows the system to uniquely identify the various warehouse elements like tasks, orders, and documents. These number ranges will be assigned to our warehouse. Now let us understand the number range use. Okay, number ranges are used across the several important areas of the warehouse. Here is a quick overview of the areas where we will define the number ranges. Now if you could see here, the warehouse task and the warehouse documents. Now these number ranges helps to track the movements of the goods within the warehouse. View. This is used for grouping the deliveries for better handling. Warehouse order. This represents a collection of tasks to be performed. Okay, consolidation groups used for grouping the items that will be consolidated for dispatch. VAS orders. VAS orders are nothing but the value added services. These tracks the value added services within the warehouse. Okay. Indirect labor tasks. This represents the tasks that are not only directly related to the goods movement. Okay. Physical inventory documents. These documents the physical counting of the warehouse stock. Okay. Now for each of these areas, we need to define a number range to ensure proper identification and tracking with our warehouse. Okay. Now let us begin configuring the number ranges. So as you can see here, to define the number ranges, the menu path is SAM extended warehouse management, master data, and define number ranges. Okay. So here we will be defining a separate number ranges for each of these areas listed earlier. Now let us execute the node, and you will have this pop-up screen. So here we have the list of number ranges that to be defined. So let us define the first area we will configure is the number range for the warehouse tasks and the documents. The first area we will configure is the to enter the warehouse number. Let us enter our warehouse number, which is TEWM. And then the next we have the options called number range number. Here you will need to define 2 digits alphanumeric number range code. So let us use it as 01. Else I'll put it as T1. Okay, I'll make it as T1. Now the next configuration we have defining the number range. Now set the number range intervals. The range will determine the sequence of the numbers that can be used for the warehouse documents or the task. So from here enter the starting number of the range. For an example, you can use 1000000. Okay, and to enter the ending number. For an example, you can use 1999999. So this range provides a sufficient sequence of tracking the warehouse task or the documents. Alright. And the next is decide whether the number range should be an interval or the external. Now internal is nothing but if you select the internal number range, SAP will automatically generate the numbers within the specified range when a new document or a task is created. So this is the most common choice for the number ranges in the business. So external. So in case of external numbering, users will manually assign the numbers within the defined number range. This option is useful if you want more control over the number assignments, such as when you are integrating with the other systems. Okay. Now, if you want to make this particular number range as an external number range, then you need to check this box. Okay. If you won't check this box, it will become an internal number range. If you check, it will become a external number range. Okay. Now once after completing all the above fields, now hit save, create a new. Similarly, we will practice the same method for the remaining number ranges as well. Okay. Now let us go back, and next follow the same process for the defining number ranges for the warehouse orders, consolidation groups, VAS orders, indirect labor tasks, and the physical inventory documents. Okay. Now what I will do here, I will follow the same process. The other thing which I want to inform you is like each area, if required, you can follow the same number range, else you can create a unique number range. Okay, you can start the number ranges based on the warehouse size and expected activity levels. Okay, so the number range you can decide amount based on your business requirement. Okay, so let me follow the same process. Now that's it. So we have defined the number ranges for all the activities. Now the next activity is to assign the number ranges intervals to the warehouse. Double click on it. Now here, if you could see here, this is our warehouse. Now for the respective activities, we need to assign the number range which we have created now. So you will assign the number range code which you have created. For an example, in our case it is T1. So let us assign the T1 in all the activities. That's it. I have assigned the number ranges for all the activities for the respective warehouse. Okay. Now let us hit save, create a new customizing request, press enter to continue, and the data has been saved. Okay. So we have successfully assigned the number ranges for all the activities. Now I'll proceed to the next activity. Go back again. Alright, the next step is to activate the specific settings for the warehouse in SAP S4HANA that you have previously linked into the embedded EWM system. This activation ensures that the warehouse can fully integrate and function within the embedded EWM environment. Alright, so once the warehouse is created and linked, you need to activate the specific settings for the embedded EWM warehouse. Now go under the node logistics EWM and then go to extended warehouse management integration and go under the node basic setup for connectivity. And here you see a node configure SAP EWM specific parameters. Okay, now there are multiple ways where we can activate the EWM specific parameters. Okay, but this is one of the menu path. Okay, now let's execute this node and you will be landed on the screen. Okay, the first column is refers to the warehouse number. It is the 3 digits warehouse number which we have configured earlier. Now the SAP S4HANA warehouse number which is acting as a connection in the embedded EWM system. Now we need to choose this external warehouse management. You need to set it as EWM. You're telling the embedded system saying that this warehouse will be acting as a connection, so it will be acted as a EWM, which means extended warehouse management. This warehouse management will be act as a extended warehouse management in the embedded system. So we will choose extended warehouse management instead of local warehouse management. Okay, so that's it. And the next is the distribution mode. In distribution mode, choose the distribution immediately at the documentation creation. Okay, this is the standard configurations. We are not going to change anything. Let it be as it is. Batch determination in the embedded EWM. Ensure the batch selection criteria are passed from the SAP S4HANA to EWM. Let us not choose anything. Okay, the only configuration that we have to do here in this particular activity is for the warehouse number, you need to select it as a extended warehouse management instead of local WM. Okay, that's it. Once everything is done, press enter, hit save, create a new customizing request, press enter to continue, and the data has been saved. In this section, we will cover the required configuration settings in SAP S4HANA to set up the integration with embedded EWM. Okay, so before we start the configuration, let us take a scenario. Assume this is a S4HANA box or a server. Even though we have a single box, the inbound or outbound deliveries created in S4 that needs to be distributed to the EWM. For an example, if I create an inbound delivery in S4, it must also be replicated in EWM as the inbound delivery. Now, how is this distribution done? It is facilitated by the QRFC connections. So what is QRFC? QRFC stands for Q Remote Function Call, which is used to ensure the data consistency in real-time communication between the systems. Okay. Now, who sets up the QRFC connections? This is typically handled by the basis team or the security team. However, it's important to note that the only person from the either from the basis or the security team will be responsible for setting up the QRFC connections, sorry, RFC connections. Even the setup is responsible for the basis team. As a functional consultant or the end user, we should have an understanding what they are doing. Okay, so this is critical because the changing the QRFC connections can disrupt the flow and preventing the distribution of data. Okay, Never attempt to change the QRFC connections in the system unless absolutely necessary, and any changing it could cause us serious issues with the distributions of the deliveries and the other processes. Now, I will show you the steps involved in this process. So please follow them carefully and ensure that everything is in place as per the setup. Do not attempt to change the connections. Okay. So let us start with our first configurations, which is define logical system. So we need to define the logical system of S4HANA. This can be done by using the transaction code BD54 or by following the menu path. So let us go into the SAP system and define the logical system. So in a real-time scenario, this will be done by the basis consultant, but in our case, we are going to just see how it has been designed into the system. So I'm on the SAP Easy Access screen. Go to the transaction SPRO, SAP reference IMG, scroll down. You see a node integration with other SAP components. Go under the node extended warehouse management. Basic settings for setting up the system landscape. Expand the node. And the first node you can see here, name logical system. So execute the node. Press enter to continue. Now if you could see here, we have a list of logical systems which is already being defined. Okay. In our case, our logical system is S3X CLNT 100. Okay. So this is the logical system of S4HANA. So in a real-time scenario, this will be configured by the basis team. So to configure the logical system, we will click on new entries and we will enter the logical system and the description of the logical system. Okay, once the required information has been captured, we will hit save. But in our case, it has already been configured, so we need not to do anything. Okay, so this is how the logical system will be defined in the system. Okay. Now I'll execute the named logical system again. The other thing that we need to define the dummy logical system. Okay, so the dummy logical system is for the embedded EWM application. This setting is required for creating the distribution model needed for setting up the QRFC communication. The logical system can be created by using the same transaction code which we have discussed earlier, BD54, or we can also follow the same menu path. Okay, now if you could see here, this is the logical dummy logical system which has been created for the EWM S3X EWM 100, and the description is EWM logical system. So this is how you will define the logical system for the S4HANA and for the embedded EWM. So there's a one important note that needs to be remembered. Even though EWM is embedded in SAP S4HANA, a dummy logical system still needed to be created to establish a communication between the embedded EWM and SAP S4HANA. Standalone SAP EWM, however, would require you to create an actual logical system for the SAP EWM system. Okay. So once after defining the logical system, the next activity is to assign this logical system to the client. Now go back. Now here, if you could see, the second activity is to assign logical system to the client. So actually this activity will be done by the basis and security team. Okay, so let us see whether we do have an access or not. Let us check. Execute the node, press enter. As you can see here, you are not authorized to use the transaction code SCC4. So as I mentioned earlier, this activity will be done by the basis team. Being a function consultant, we will not have an access to assign the logical systems. Okay. So what I will do, I'll just press continue and we'll proceed to the next activity. All right. Our next activity is specify SAP APO release. Execute the node. Press enter to continue. Now here in this activity, you will specify the release level of the SAP APO system that is defined as the target system. Okay. The target system must be defined under the logical system. Okay. So under the logical system, you will enter the target system, the system target. name under the logical system, and under the system type, okay, you will enter it as SAP underscore APO, and under release, okay, you will input the relevant release. Now the current relevant release of this SAP S/4HANA logical system client is 713. Okay, now if you click on this list button, you will see the required information. So based on the required information and the latest release, whatever it is there, you will be assigning it accordingly. That's it. Okay, now I'll go back. Our next activity is set up RFC destination. Okay, now what is this configuration? This configuration is the communication between the embedded EWM application component and SAP S/4HANA which happens via QRFC. Now you will set up the RFC destination for QRFC to help the management communication process, error handling, and so on. Okay. So due to some restrictions, we couldn't able to see the configurations related to the RFC destinations as it has to be set up by the basis team. Okay. So this is the basic information, and this is the configuration path where we will set up the RFC destination. Okay. And to define the RFC destination, it can also be created by using the transaction code SM59. So please do remember, it can be also done by the SM59. So now I will proceed to the next configuration. Alright, our next configuration is determine the RFC destination for the method calls. Okay, to do this configuration, we use the transaction code BD97. Okay, let us go to an SAP and configure this. I'm on the SAP Easy Access screen. Let us type the transaction code BD97. Hit enter. So you will be landed this screen. Here we are going to assign the RFC destination. Okay. In this step, you will set up the RFC destination for the method calls in SAP S/4HANA. Enter the RFC destination of the embedded EWM system as the RFC destination in SAP S/4HANA system. Okay. Now this is our, we expand this, and here you can see it has been already assigned. Okay. So this is what we have to do in this particular configurations. In case if it has not been assigned, what you will do, you will select the you will place your cursor on your logical system, and for an example, let me select this. Okay, place your cursor on this logical system, click on the standard WAPI destination, and you need to assign the logical system of your S/4HANA system. Okay, and you will assign the S/4HANA system and click OK. So this is how it has been assigned. Okay, once the configuration is done, you will hit on save. Okay, so for now I'm just, so this is how the RFC destination will be assigned. That's it. Now I'll proceed to the next activity. Alright, our next configuration is generate distribution model for transaction data transfer to SAP EWM. And this configuration can be done by the following menu path. Okay, now let us go to SAP screen. Go under the node SPRO, SAP reference IMG, integration with other SAP components, extended warehouse management. Go under the node basic settings for EWM linkage. Expand this node, and here you see a node generate distribution models for transaction data transfer to SAP EWM. Okay, now what exactly is this configurations? Now in the distribution model, usually the deliverers are sent from SAP S/4HANA to embedded EWM via QRFCs. Okay, now these can be inbound deliveries, outbound deliveries, or the posting changes request initiated in SAP S/4HANA. Now this distribution model decides which objects are transferred from SAP S/4HANA to embedded EWM via QRFCs. Okay, so that is the reason we have to generate the distribution model for transaction data transfer to SAP EWM. Now what I'll do, I'll just execute this node. Okay. Now first you need to provide your warehouse number, SAP warehouse number, SAP S/4HANA warehouse number. Execute the node, click on the list, and our warehouse is, let us choose EWM. So our warehouse is EWM. Okay. Now you need to select the logical system of SAP EWM. Okay. Select the list, and it is S4H EWM 100. Okay. Now what is the distribution model? And here you can give the name of the view of distribution model. So in our case, what I will give it as S4 EWM1. Okay. This is the free text where you can enter the name of your distribution model view. Okay. Now objects, let us select all, and action, create it as entries. Okay. Once after updating all the required information, click on execute. Click on yes. Okay. Now if you could see here, we have successfully have created a distribution model node. Now here, ensure this all the protocols must be okay. Okay, because for the respective methods, all the protocols has to be okay. Now click on continue. So that's it. We have generated the distribution model for SAP S/4HANA to SAP EWM. Now I'll proceed to the next activity. And similarly, to check the distribution model, we use the transaction code BD64. Execute the transaction and expand the node. This is our S4H S4HANA client ERP logical system. Expand it. Expand the logical system 100. Now go to inbound delivery, save replica, exit, expand the receiver, expand the filter group, expand the warehouse number. Now if you could see here, our warehouse number, it has been assigned to the distribution model. So this is how we will configure the distribution model. Okay, I will proceed to the next activity. All right. So far we have done the configurations on S4 HANA side. Let us do the configurations for the EWM side now. Okay. The next configuration is define your business system. Now, the configuration settings that needs to be made in the embedded EWM system application component to complete the integration with the SAP S4 HANA application. Okay. To do that, let go to the transaction SPRO, reference IMG, SEM extended warehouse management, go under the node interface, and then ERP integration, go to general settings, and here you see define own business system. Okay. Now in this step, you define your own business system. Execute the node. Here you need to provide the name of the system where you install EWM, which in this case is the name of the SAP S/4HANA logical system. So here it has already been predefined in the system. Okay, we need not to do anything. Okay, if in case when you are configuring it for the first time, so you can give the name of your logical system for the S/4HANA and for the EWM. Okay, that's it. This is what we have to do here. Okay, in case if you want to create your business system, you can click on new entries and you can write the name. You can provide your name of the system. Okay, that's it. I'll proceed to the next configuration. Go back again. Now the next configuration is define business system. In this step, you define the business system and all the systems that are part of the system landscape. Okay, execute the node. Now here in this case, provide the name of the SAP S/4HANA logical system, embedded EWM system, okay, which uses the business system stored in the warehouse to request the documents to identify the logical systems of SAP S/4HANA. Now here, this shows your business system is defined with the embedded EWM. Okay, now if you could see here, this is an embedded EWM business system, and this is S/4HANA. So we have assigned the S/4HANA system and the EWM system, and to the respective S/4HANA system, we have assigned the S/4HANA logical system, and for EWM business system, we have assigned it for the EWM logical system. And ensure your manual maintenance, it is flag set event raised all the time. Okay, we have two options, flag is not set and flag is set, so always ensure that flag is set. So here it is already predefined, so when you are creating it for the first time, you can click on new entries and you can create the business systems and assign the logical systems accordingly, respective logical systems. Okay, that's it. This is what we have to do here. Now I will proceed to the next configuration. Now go back. Alright, our next configuration is assign warehouse number from logistics execution. Execute the node. So here you need to assign your warehouse number, 3-digit warehouse number and the 4-digit EWM warehouse number. Okay, to do that, so you just keep the business system as blank and ensure that you are assigning your 3-digit warehouse number and your 4-digit EWM warehouse number. Okay, in our case, it has already been assigned. Okay. So once you captured the required information, hit on save. Data will be saved already. Okay, this is what you have to do in this particular configurations. Once it is done, go back. The next configuration is assign business partners to plant. Execute this node. So here to your respective plant, you need to assign your business partner. To do that, click on new entries. Now enter your plant. My plant is NY01 and your logical system. Let us select the logical system as okay, and the disposable party entitled, it is 2144. Okay, that's it. Hit enter. The required information has been saved. Now hit save and the data was saved. This is what we have to do here in this particular configurations. Once it is done, go back again. Alright, our next configuration is assign RFC destination to the logical system for special purposes. Okay, now execute the node. Now here you need to define the RFC destination versus receiver. Go to new entries, select the S/4HANA logical system and select the RFC destination. Okay, S4H client 100 is the receiver and the RFC destination is S4H client 100. Okay, now once it is done, press enter and hit save. Create a new customizing request. I'm saving in the same TR. Press enter to continue and the data was saved. That's it. I will proceed to the next configuration.